Hello, welcome to An Imperfectly Perfect Life with me, Shari Leid. This week, my guest is Alan Lazaros. Alan is the founder and CEO of Next Level University. And the thing that I absolutely love about Alan, and you'll hear it in his story, is that he doesn't simply lead from a mountaintop looking down. He leads from a place of someone who's been on the climb. And he helps businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, people interested in podcasting, branding. He helps them level up. I think you'll enjoy this conversation. In fact, I know you'll enjoy this conversation. And stay tuned to the end as I share with you more information about the Flip the Box Retreat for Women, a 3-day retreat coming to the Dallas area in March of 2026. Okay, enjoy. Hey, Alan, it's great to see you.
I am super grateful to be here. I want to start with gratitude because anytime you get a chance to be on a platform and speak into someone's life, you can't take that for granted because 10 years ago when I first started this work, it was crickets and no one cared. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Oh, that's a great way to start. I love putting like the conversation in a container like that, that brings the best energy. And there's something that I didn't talk to you about that I noticed when I was looking at your background that we have in common. So we have a couple of things in common, which I think is great because for those who are not watching us, if you looked at Alan and I, we look very different. And you wouldn't know that we have such a similar background, which was what I love about meeting all these different people, how similar we are. So, Alan, you were involved in a car accident in your 20s that was nearly catastrophic. I mean, a serious, significant car accident. I was also involved in a car accident when I was 22. I was hit head on a highway at a very high speed, ended up breaking both legs in being taken to the Trauma One Level Center in the Seattle area, Harborview Hospital. And that was life changing for me. So we have that in common. In addition to, I read that your dad had passed away at age 2. And I don't know if you know this, but I was orphaned as a baby. So I have that background that's similar to yours as well. So I just thought that was so cool that we come from these places of challenge that have really shaped who we are today.
Definitely. And my birth father did die in a car as well. So the whole car accident thing, it was sudden, it was tragic. And for anyone out there who grew up in adversity, like obviously you did and I did, it gives you a different perspective from the get. Normal was never going to be normal for me. And that in hindsight, later on, has actually become kind of a hell of a gift and a responsibility. So we'll get into it without getting too heavy right out of the gate.
Yeah, well, you opened the door there for me to share something because I traveled to all 50 states. I shared a meal with a stranger in every state. And what I had learned is the women, these were all women, the women that I met who had been through some sort of earlier life trauma or were not born with a silver spoon, they seemed to really know themselves because they had to get to know themselves. And I did meet one woman in her 60s who was born in the lap of luxury. Everything was what school you went to, who you knew, who I was related to, all this stuff, which was great. But then through the pandemic, she lost basically, well, in her mind, everything. And she was really struggling. And it was the first time in my life I thought, I have the wrong definition of privilege. For so long, I thought of privilege as, being born without adversity. And I thought, no, maybe the privilege comes from having life throw you these pieces of adversity, because then you get into this university PhD level of life learning.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we are. And you have actually, there's a segue I wasn't playing, but you have a company that you call Next Level University, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you mentioned the adversity piece and the whole have a meal with someone in all 50 states. That must be so fascinating.
Oh, it was amazing. It was like it started with me trying to connect with each person, and it ended up with me feeling like I had one teacher, only the body and the voice changed.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And I'm kind of holding back to not ask you about that, but I know you'll share some stuff. Ultimately, I do think to piggyback on what you had said earlier is when you do face really big adversity, particularly young, you end up an existentialist. And an existentialist, you can ChatGPT this or Google it or whatever. It's funny, Google now has become ChatGPT. It used to be Google it, now it's ChatGPT it.
Yeah.
But existentialist means you think about existence itself. You think about who you are and why you are and yourself, others in the world, and how you fit in this whole thing. Instead of just sort of autopilot, I think an existentialist gets kicked off of autopilot. And my dad dying definitely gave me a different perspective on mortality. And then me almost dying at 26 gave me a whole nother perspective on mortality, having it be the sort of the second chance my dad never got. And one thing I can say is ever since I was a little kid, I was always an existentialist. I was always asking questions like, why are we the way we are? Why do people act the way they act? Why are so many people unfulfilled? Why are so many people unsuccessful? Why doesn't everyone reach their full potential? And so I have Next Level University now, and 10 years ago, after that car accident, almost 11 years, I'm going to be 37 in November 17th, so in a couple weeks. And I'm an engineer, so I often say I'm Alan version 3.7. You're nice. So your iPhone updates every month, sometimes every day.
Yeah.
My car updates overnight. And we don't update enough. So for me, I'm trying to get better and better and better. And Next Level University is a company that is built on that idea. No matter how hard your past has been, no matter how hard your present is, you have a bigger, better, brighter future if you take responsibility in the present to make it better and to get better. And so, Alan version 3.7 is far wiser than Alan 3.5, far wiser than Alan 2.5.
Oh, I bet.
That's not
and
close.
I could just imagine, especially with that awareness. I read that you said, let's see, I think I switched my piece of paper, so you can correct me with what you said, but it was something to the effect of you need awareness first to have change. And that change turns into action, or what exactly? I'm paraphrasing what I read.
Thank you. So I've been trying to figure out my whole life why. So I grew up in a very tough environment, which I didn't really realize until later on. And then I look back and realize how you rewatch the movie of your life and you realize, oh, this is worse than normal. My normal was not normal, it turns out. But anyways, so I've been trying to figure out why certain people face adversity and become better from it. And it's this idea of anti-fragile. There's a book by Nassim Taleb called Anti-Fragile, and I don't necessarily like Nassim or the book. They're great, they're fine. I don't know them. It's not about
That's the first time someone ever has mentioned a book and followed it with, I don't necessarily like it.
I don't know the man, and the book's okay, but the concept of anti-fragile, that's what I care about. The concept of anti-fragile is the more you attack someone, the more you come at someone, the more adversity you throw at someone, the stronger it gets. The more you attack something, the stronger it gets. And so I've been trying to figure out why I somehow, from a scientist's perspective, like how did I end up better from all of that? And some of the people I grew up with didn't. And why does one person create virtue and the other person escape and device? And trust me, I've done both for sure. But that's been the sort of existential question, and I figured it out. And to your point about awareness, if you have a deeper understanding of yourself, others, and the world, you can see things other people can't see, and then you have an opportunity cost to not taking action. So, for example, I was just on with a client earlier today. Her name's Odette. I taught Odette some things on my notebook about finance that she didn't know. Now that she understands what's possible for her in the financial markets, she now will take different action. And so I think deeper understanding, not necessarily formal education, but deeper understanding of yourself, others, and the world is where self-belief and reaching your full potential is actually created. Because Kevin basically says, like, dude, you're different. My business partner's name's Kevin. He's like, you're different. Not everyone believes in themselves like you do. And I'm like, okay, that's fair, but why not? Why not? And what I will say out of the gate here is I've always been I felt very gifted in the intellectual realm. So because I was always so curious and I could connect dots, I saw opportunity where other people only saw the hardship. And I think that if that's where we start, which is deeper understanding, I think that we can all create a bigger, better, brighter future. And ultimately my job on this planet, I think, is to help people believe in themselves more so that they can reach their own unique potential. Not next level you, as in next level university, but next level you, YOU. Not next level Alan, not next level Kevin, but next level you. And that's what we constantly say is like, yeah, we're talking about ourselves and we're on the microphones, but we want you to be the best version of yourself. And it always comes back to that. Even when I get lost, it always comes back to that.
So it's interesting because the question that I've been asking and trying to figure out is very similar. You put it into different words, but what gives somebody drive and someone else not drive? Like, is that something that can be learned? And I've gotten to the point that I don't necessarily think that's learned. I think it's almost innate, right? Drive, or there has to be a reason. You're laughing because it sounds like you must have an answer or a comment because, okay, then you can answer my question because I've been thinking about this for a while. And since this journey of 50 states in 2023, when I met all these different people, one person that I met was a woman who is forgot what she calls it, but basically she works for my publisher and she's the book midwife. Basically, she handles everything kind of in the publishing realm to make sure that the author is being connected with the right people at the right times with the publishing process. And so I had always assumed, I'd never met her in person, just did business with her. And she happened to be my Maryland connection, Carrie, to sit down and actually meet her. And I assumed that this was a woman that had a journalistic background, that she had a business background, that she had degrees, on her wall. And I sat down with her and she had never gone to college. And this is a woman that has been so impactful in my career, and she's Johnny on the spot. If she doesn't know something, I just know she'll find out. I trust her with everything. And I thought, wow. And she said, she thought she'd go to college, but just wasn't for her. She took a class and was like, I just want to go out into the real world. And she said, but I've always had drive. Yeah. And I thought, okay. And that's when I started asking that question. What gives somebody drive? Because drive will lead you to success way more than a college degree 100%. Will. And so you look like you might have the answer. So share with me your thoughts on that, Alan.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if I have the answer, but I resonate so deeply with the question because so that's one thing that I've been asking my whole life too, because I used to, when I was younger, it was definitely a little bit more ego than now. And I understand that. So, understand I was in my early 20s, but I remember thinking, like, why is everyone so lazy? Kevin got me to realize, Alan, it's not that everyone else is small. It's that Shaq is really big.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
And I was like, oh, he's like, I don't think everyone's lazy. Oh, I thought people were lazy because from my perspective of drive, they do seem kind of lazy. And I know that sounds mean. So before you all hate me, just give me a second. I have so much drive. I always have. No matter what I do, I always joke. I said, I can't even do moderation in moderation. But the point is where does that come from? I do think it's a dial that you can increase and decrease, but I think we all have a set point. And I got a therapist in my 30s. And I rewatched the movie of my life, and I always used to think my drive came from adversity. I thought, well, when you're beaten up as a kid, metaphorically and literally, you get drive because you have this part of you that it's like,
fight.
Okay, I have to survive, right? You know what I'm talking about? I was so afraid to go to therapy. Here's why. I thought that when I healed and unburdened, I thought I was going to lose my drive. I was so afraid I was going to lose my tenacity. My warrior, which scares people, I realize. But I didn't. I told my therapist, Carol, I said, it got way bigger. It's so much bigger now. And she's like, she smiles. And it's like, I feel so much more unburdened from a lot of the pain and trauma and trauma work. And my girlfriend and future wife is trauma certified. So like learning that stuff as an engineer was fascinating for me. But I was so afraid to heal because I was afraid I was going to be lazy.
Oh, interesting.
It's like, if I'm unburdened and I'm not trying to prove myself anymore, am I going to end up kind of lazy? Holy crap, that wasn't true. My drive got 10 times bigger, which it already was pretty big. So now I really scare people. But ultimately, I don't know why, but my old theory was my drive came from my adversity. My new theory is that when you unburden and heal and learn yourself and become self-aware, I think that you lean into whatever true self is. And if true self is drive, like mine, people are very concerned for me, and I want to explain this well. So it's coming up on 11 years since that car accident, and I haven't taken a full day off since then. And a lot of people think that's a terrible idea. Listen, I was on a podcast once. She said, "Oh my God, Alan, that's so bad for you." And I said, "No, Deborah, that's bad for you."
Oh, yeah.
I said, the truth is I want to build every day for the rest of my life. Build the self, build the family, build the business. Now, it's not 15 hours a day every day. Okay, sometimes it's an hour a day, but I never take a full day off of building my legacy and my company and my life and my body and my relationship. So to talk about drive here, here's what I would say. Some people have very little drive, and then when they're in social settings, they act like they have a lot. Cut that out. And then people like me who have a ton when they're alone, then they dial it way down in social settings because they don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. What I'm trying to say is that the most courageous thing you can do is own whatever that is. Kevin is finally owning it. He used to pretend to be like me, and I used to pretend to be like him because we were cowards. And now he just owns it. Like, honestly, I am kind of lazy. And now that I own that, I'm going to have to override it. Whereas with me, and this is the two sides of the coin, some people actually have to force themselves to stop working. Two guesses
That's
which
me.
end I'm on. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Other people have to force themselves to actually get to work.
Do you think, though, it's because we're aligned with what we are meant to do?
Yes.
And our purpose? And that's one thing that I do with work with my clients is help them chip away with all these stories that they're living, their other people's stories, their parents' stories, their, society stories, teachers' stories, who they thought they should be, to get down to who they're here to be. And so I'm wondering if, the more we're able to do that, to help our clients, to help the people we work with, doing it, what we've done in our own lives. And my version is a lot old. My version 56 over here, 55, 5.5. But do you think that is maybe part of the key to drive is actually just helping find exactly what aligns with the person? And if everyone could find at some point what aligns with their purpose here to do, then drive comes easily.
I would say that I think all of us start out in life as a pristine glass of water. And we do have some generational mud in there, typically.
Yeah.
But like a pristine glass of water, and then we get mud slung in our glass, some more than others. And I think that when you start to clear the glass metaphorically and you start to heal from the past, learn yourself, others in the world, and align with what you're meant to do in the world and your strengths and weaknesses, and own all of who you are, and courage and vulnerability and humility, I do think you will end up with drive will come more natural. However, I do not think everyone's going to have Tom Brady level drive, even if they are aligned. Because even when I didn't like my job, I still was so much more driven than everybody else. And I know that's,
that's a good point. That's a good point, though.
Okay. I hate how arrogant some of that stuff sounds. It's just, I remember thinking, like, why is and I'm what people refer to as an obsessive. And as long as you're obsessed with the right things, virtuous things, growth, contribution, things, I think that can be really good. but I don't think everyone's going to be an obsessive just when they find their purpose. I think drive will come more naturally when you are in alignment with your core values and goals that are meant for you. However, I don't think everyone's going to be a Tom Brady level work ethic.
And who comes to you? Like, do they seek to come to Next Level University? Is it a specific industry, a specific type of person? Is the program a set program for everyone that's exactly the same? Is it bespoken? Tell me about it.
Yeah, thank you. So no, so it's evolved a lot over the years as I have, but I have it written over here. So I have a quadrant, so 4 quadrants, 2 X and Y axis. I'm an engineer, so forgive me for that. All right, so the Y axis is coachability. The X axis is work ethic. And I think every entrepreneur needs to find their absolutely people and their absolutely not people. And my absolutely people have high coachability, meaning they have deep inward humility. You don't have to come off as humble, but you have to have inward humility of like knowing that you don't know, knowing that what you do know is limited and what you don't know is limitless. Being eager to learn. Like even in this session, I can tell that you are eager to learn from me. It's a breath of fresh air. I really appreciate it. And same.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, even before we came on here, you taught me about some mic settings that I didn't know.
And you appreciate
so already have changed my life.
Oh, I love it. So some people get very offended by that. They're like, who do you think you are? And all this kind of statusy stuff. So you were very gracious. I appreciate it. You were also very kind to me, even though I was late because I was with a client. That also meant a lot to me. So thank you for that. Because, you're my absolute people, I think. Okay, that's my point. So my absolutely not people are low coachability and low work ethic. And I basically say this to anyone at NLU, BGU, all the stuff I do. If you don't have good, like strong work ethic, I am going to be useless to you. Here's why. None of my strategies are built on I want to achieve huge rewards for minimal effort. Now, I believe in leverage and I believe in Pareto's principle and I believe in doubling down on your strengths and mitigating your weaknesses. Like I love leverage and scale. That's all good. But if your job, like if you're trying to work only 4 hours a week, I am going to be useless to you because we've done 2,200 episodes. We do an episode every day. Like I believe in you get out of life what you invest into life. And I'm not really for the try to do less, try to be less, try to get more with less. And so the high coachability, high work ethic, those are my absolutely people, upper right quadrant. The bottom left, low work ethic, low coachability are my absolutely not people. But the danger zones are the other quadrants. Because if you have high coachability but low work ethic, you're going to listen to my strategies but never do them.
Yeah.
And then
that was me taking piano lessons as a kid, but go ahead.
Nice. If you have high work ethic but low coachability, you're going to think your way is the way, and my strategies are going to be useless to you because you're not going to really learn from me. And so I've had to learn through massive pain and failure over the last decade of who not to work with. And I basically just say, if you have high coachability and high work ethic, I'll bring the strategies and the metrics and the habits and the skills, and I'll get you in alignment with who you are, not who I am. Because that's my gift and my focus. Especially the engineering piece, the reverse engineering goals and dreams is really what my focus is now. But that's who I work with. And it's all over the map. I'm talking a photographer in Florida, a home stager in New Zealand, someone in Italy, people all over Canada. I mean,
literally and figuratively all over the map.
All over the world. It's been really cool. Yeah. And my favorite part about it is, as an existentialist, I get to learn. I have 11,645. I call it my magic number. 11,645 podcasts, coaching sessions, and trainings. And I get to learn from people all over the world pretty much every day, 6 days a week. And then Sunday's my back office day.
And that makes you a better coach and teacher, understanding all these different industries and cultures and consumer responses and all of that. I can only imagine. One of the things that I appreciate, I used to be a lawyer, a practicing litigator, and I did criminal for a long time and then civil defense work, but it gave me the opportunity to learn about a lot of different areas, especially in the civil realm, because I worked for a large insurance company and they insured personal lines, business lines, professional lines. So I would have to study, and that's helped me now in what I do because I understand at least pieces of many, many industries I wouldn't have had exposure to. So you also mentioned, you said NLU, you said BGU. Did I hear that correctly? What is
Correct.
BGU?
Yeah, so Business Growth University. So we have three main parts of our company. So Next Level University is the company. Next Level University podcast is Level Up Yourself. Then we have Podcast Growth University, Level Up Your Podcast. That's hosted by Kevin, so I don't do that one. So Next Level University is me and Kevin. And then Kevin has his own podcast called Podcast Growth University. He's the podcast guy. And then I have Business Growth University that I just started about 4 months ago. And it's me in front of this remarkable sharing screen, just teaching different business model stuff and branding and marketing and sales and client delivery and community and how to build sub-communities and how to build a brand. And basically, some people, we call them listeners, longers, and business owners. So listeners want to learn from us and do personal development and success and goals. That's Next Level University. Longers want to build their own podcasts in their own communities online and build sort of a brand. And then business owners need to generate revenue. Otherwise, they're going to go out of business like us. Because it was never a hobby for me. But Kevin and I only made $13,000 the entire first 2 years. And we both were in Massachusetts. So that's like poverty, right? Yeah, exactly. And so we both came from six-figure corporate careers. And we just needed to generate revenue. And so we've snowballed the hell out of that. And we're doing very well now. But we help people who want to turn their passion into purpose, into profit. And some people are just listeners and some people actually want to start businesses. And so the people who want to start businesses get to me. The people who want to start podcasts get to Kevin. And we have someone named Amy Lenius who helps a ton of people and coaches a ton of people on the success and goal-oriented side. A lot of those people are still in corporate, totally fine. We don't want to make any of that wrong because I actually think, not everyone is supposed to be a business owner.
Yeah. So how do people, I would imagine sometimes they'll come in and they don't exactly know which area to focus on or who to work with, or because, I told you before we got on, I tend to drink the Kool-Aid, and I've had to stop because the Kool-Aid's really expensive and pick my Kool-Aid very carefully. So when people contact you, do you help them decide where in their career they might fit in and what would be the best route for them to take?
100%. So we have a couple clients who are doing what's called the works, which means we work with 116 as of today. I track my metrics every day. 116 podcasters and business owners, paying clients. Everywhere from, we produce just your audio all the way to, $10,000 a month type of thing. And I always joke, I say we might as well be mowing their lawn. It's actually $9,000 a month. Okay. But so the deal. It's like we do everything, their web, everything. So social media, website, podcast, audio, video, YouTube, thumbnail, absolutely everything. Like they take a lot of our resources, but they're wonderful. My point of this though, is we have something new that we just started doing 4 months ago. We had someone in our group coaching program. We have a group coaching program called the Next Level Podcast Accelerator. So we've done 20 groups. We've done a group every quarter, 10 people at a time. We have a private WhatsApp group and we do 12-week sessions, and it's level up yourself, level up your podcast, level up your business. It's really cool. And there's 2 people from group coaching that wanted more, which we're grateful for. And they wanted to coach with me. So me, Amy, and Kevin run the group coaching program. I'm the head coach. Kevin's the assistant head coach. And then Amy's the assistant coach. And they wanted to work with all 3 of us. And we were like,
well, who wouldn't?
I appreciate that.
Right?
Yeah. I wish that was the case. Not everyone wants to. We're a lot, right? Yeah. So you would, because you like the Kool-Aid, right? But so 2 people, a guy named Justin and this woman, Davina. And so we were like, okay, this is going to be crazy. So you're going to coach with Amy, Kevin, and me every month, and we're going to produce your podcast? Okay. So we created this package called The Works. And 2 people are doing it, and so it's been fascinating. So they're getting coached in business by me, podcasting by Kevin, and life by Amy. And it's just awesome. So, but it's a lot. And so what I try to do with people when they come in is I try not to overwhelm them right out of the gate, because I tend to be, when someone comes to me and they want to like change their life, I'm like, okay, yes, let's do all of it and let's do this. And then a lot of times they get burnt out. So you got to kind of start small. And so group coaching to the works is kind of a big jump. But it's pretty cool. We've got a book club. We've got master classes I do every month. We've got a lot going on. And it's overwhelming, but in the best way.
Yeah, sounds like there's a place for everyone if they're motivated and coachable.
Yeah, nice.
And will do the work. A place for everybody to land. Well, how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way? If they're your name's on the screen here, but if they're just listening, verbalize how's the best way for someone to get a hold of you.
Yeah, well, so I use Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and I always tell all my clients, I say, social media is never going away, but TikTok might, or Clubhouse might. So, but the ones I use currently are Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And this is kind of new-ish, but this is what I've been saying lately. I think that in the world of AI, the AI revolution, which is absolutely upon us, I think what's going to matter in business in the future is going to be human connection, belonging, and community.
Did you know that's exactly what my keynote is on?
No, that's
you didn't know that. That's exactly what my keynote's on.
That's why we feel energetically aligned.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
One of my foundational phrases is you can automate the task, but human connection is what will last.
Nice. That's exactly what we're going all in on. We have a fitness group. And I'm talking, I know these people. I've been doing book club every week for 5 years. I know these book clubbers. Like I know these people deeply. So we have communities and sub-communities, and it's just awesome. So you can reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. I can't promise I'll get back to you day of, but when I get back to you, which I will, it will be me.
And spell your name for everyone.
Alan Lazaros. It's Alan Lazaros. And you can Google me, ChatGPT me, Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. You can email me at Alan, ALAN, at nextleveluniverse.com, spelled just like it sounds. You can play this back if you need it again. But ultimately, and this is the last thing I'll say, is if you do reach out, just please provide context, obviously, because we all get a lot of spam. But that will actually be me who replies, and I would love to connect. If you have work ethic and you're coachable, I would love to connect. And we do all kinds of cool stuff. We do fitness, personal development, business, podcasting. It's a really cool global community of people that make growth and personal growth cool. Because unfortunately, in the common world, for lack of better phrasing, for some reason, if you're into personal growth, it's just you're a weirdo. And so we have a group of weirdos now.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on and explaining what you do, and I'm 100% behind your mission. We're very aligned in what we want to do and how we want to help people. And because we are the 7-day-a-week work people that we just love to do it, the nice thing is not everyone has to do that because we're able to bottle up our work and deliver it in a way that is digestible for those who don't want to wake up every Saturday or Sunday and touch a piece of their business. So thank you so much. This was such a great conversation. I appreciate you. And I have already sent you a LinkedIn request. So I look forward to continued connection. I sent that this morning.
Nice. I will definitely be accepting that. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And for anyone who's listening, thank you for your attention, because I think that's the most valuable asset you have.
Thank you. Nicely said. Take care.
You too.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. And I'd like to personally invite you to the Women's 3-Day Flip the Box Retreat. It's going to be held at a beautiful venue that we're staying at for 3 days in the Dallas area. Payment plans are available. If you register now, between now and the end of the year, you can break up your payments in 3 different parts. I'd love to talk to you more about the retreat, what to expect, and find out if it's the right fit for you. And I think you'll know if you're getting that little inkling that this is something that feels right, that you want to explore further, book a call. Let's talk. Okay. Take care. Have a good week.